When we talk about Philoxenia, Philanthropia, and Filotimo, the island of Lesbos and what these people did bring these values to life. All three of these ancient Greek words and values have at least two things in common. They share the ancient Greek word philo, which means love, and they are not values that you are asked to do, but rather seen as duties by being human. When we ask ourselves the important question, what does love require? I believe love is not possible without these three values. As Greeks, we cannot claim these values as our own, as much as we'd like. Rather, they are human values that the ancient Greeks were smart enough and keen enough to recognize as important and put words to. In fact, the ancient Greeks felt so strongly about creating a word for the value of Filotimo that no other language has a word for this term. But why? Why are Filotimo, Philanthropia, and Philoxenia so important? What did the ancient Greeks see in these values when it is clear that they come at a tremendous cost? Just ask the cross guards from Lesbos who risked their lives every day to save others. Or ask people of Lesbos whose tourism, a major source of income, went down 90% in the summer of 2016 because their focus went towards accommodating and building infrastructure for the migrants rather than themselves. Simply put, why would these people go to such extreme lengths to accommodate strangers when they were weak themselves? The answer, I believe, lies in the ancient Greek phrase, "ta kala kopis chtonde." That which is good requires hard work. Although the short-term cost of living a sacrificial life like this may be great, the reward is greater along the way and in the end. Mr. Tzanetos, when asked why he feeds and houses thousands of people every day, when he is not getting paid for doing this, answered, "I think this is something we will say as a story to our children. I don't want to tell them I was here just watching. I want to tell them I helped as much as possible." Profound. We all will face trials that stand between us and furthering love and doing the right thing for our fellow human being. But persevering through these trials is worth it, because in facing these trials and standing the test of time, we receive the crown of life: purpose, resilience, character, and peace. In doing so, we become complete and clear, not lacking anything. And more importantly, the world becomes a better place because we take care of our neighbor. We must let the actions of Lesbos inspire us. Yet, sadly, although we all want to live a life of peace, purpose, and fulfillment, it is clear that this does not always happen. I see this every day in my medical clinic or in my Sunday school class, as many patients and students express lacking meaning in their lives. Sadly, Statistics Canada shows the same trend, as the rate of suicide in Ontario is increasing. This is a tragedy. When we talk about Filotimo, Philanthropia, and Philoxenia, these are gateways to happiness. Thus, we must ask ourselves, what is in the way of choosing these values? What is in the way of achieving this happiness? 3 obstacles come to mind. The first obstacle to these values is hurt and fear. In a time where many islanders of Lesbos could not support themselves, they were faced with an influx of thousands of refugees daily. I'm sure this terrified many of them and hurt them because they could not focus on themselves or their families. For any of us, when we are hurt and scared, the first thing we want to do is run and separate ourselves from the people or situation that hurt us. But by running, we never know whose lives we could have changed. And furthermore, we might be walking away from crucial life experiences that are essential to our growth. When we are hurt or dealing with fear, we need to learn to be resilient, communicate with those that are different than us, find common ground, and even love and welcome those who hurt or scared us. The second obstacle is distraction or noise. We live in a tough city. There are tremendous pressures to be accepted, do well in school, make it into university, and carve out a decent living in an expensive and competitive town. But we don't make it easy for ourselves. A recent study by Rideout showed in the ages of 8 to 18, children spend an average of 7.5 hours a day using entertainment media, including cell phones, TVs, computer, etc. Living a life of Filotimo, philanthropia, and philoxenia, as we discovered above, takes time and it takes work. And it is threatened when so much time goes towards social media. Media is great within moderation. It makes us more efficient, it connects us with so many people, and it gives us tremendous resources. Yet it can become a noisy distraction from meaningful things that are happening right in front of us. I think Mr. Zanetto summed it up perfectly earlier. I don't want to tell my children that I was here just watching. We must use media in moderation so that we do not become spectators in our own lives and the lives of those around us. The third and final obstacle to these values is surprisingly ourselves. Sadly, we can get in the way of living these beautiful values. On the island of Kos, an island that has faced the same challenge of refugee migrants, every single morning, 76-year-old Dionysis Alvanitakis rises early to bake over 200 pounds of bread and pastries to load in his van and give to the refugees who swim to shore off overcrowded inflatable rubber boats seeking food. When asked by the Greek media why he does this, he responded, "Someone who has not starved cannot put themselves in these people's shoes." He himself grew up poor in Peloponneso and was always running, looking for work. Ultimately, to come closer to Filotimo, philanthropia, and philoxenia, we must humble ourselves to be at the level of the other person so that we can connect with them. We need to put ourselves in other people's shoes so that they can feel loved, so that they can feel welcomed, and lastly, so that they can feel Filotimo. In doing so, this will fulfill us as human beings, and we can find meaning and make the world a better place. In closing, the best of the human spirit has been brought to life on Lesbos by the massive wave of refugees washing along its shores, and should give us all hope and inspiration. In our rational minds, what they did does not make sense. They went into debt, they risked their lives, and put their families' futures at risk. But clearly, they found more meaning in a life of loving strangers, of different backgrounds and religions, truly welcoming them and walking in their shoes rather than serving themselves. Thank you, and Zito Yelas!